Shalom Aleichem, Assalamu Alaikum. Welcome to 2 Chronicles chapter 3, in which there are 17 verses. Beginning in verse 5, we have the word lined in reference to the temple being lined with gold. Verses sealed, which means covered, means the same thing. Okay, the cedar wood versus fir tree. So two distinctive trees. Fir is closer to pine. Then we have pure gold in the same verse versus fine gold. Carved versus set thereon. So they weren't simply placed or set on there, but it was carved specifically. Verse 6, we have an omission of, and he gilded it with gold, referring to the house. Verse 7, walls were gilded as well, versus beams. When we think of beams, we don't think of walls. We think of the structural support, the structural skeleton or framework of a house. There's an omission of roofs, however you want to pronounce that. Verse 8, an omission of the word front, so according to the front of the other house. Length versus breadth. So two different measurements. There's an omission for cherubs. Verse 9, an omission again of the weight of each was 50 shekels, so the weight of each was omitted. Verse 10, our first significant difference, it's talking about the two cherubs were made of wood. They were woodwork versus image work. That can mean so many different things. It could mean a tapestry. It could mean so many different materials, but we know in the Septuagint it only means wood. Verse 12, this verse does not appear in the manuscript of the Septuagint. However, in the Alexandrian it is found. And it's simply a redundancy. Basically, it's a repetition of verse 11. Verse 13, a significant difference here as well. It talks about how their faces, the cherubs' faces, were toward the house versus inward. Now, when you look closer into this word, inward, in the Hebrew, it is bayit, which means house. So, interestingly enough, or surprisingly anyway, this was a mistranslation. Whereas the Septuagint English translator gets it right. It is toward the house. Okay, so that is that. Verse 17, finishing off this chapter, we have two different names being given for the two pillars, one on the right and on the left. The name of the one on the right hand in the Septuagint is stability, in the English versus yakin, and the Hebrew for that word or name yakin is he will establish. The footnote reads establishment or correction. The name of the other pillar, the one on the left, is strength in the English versus Boaz in the Masoretic, which means fleetness or speed. So we could even say that is a significant difference as well. So that's all for this chapter. Thank you very much for your time. Until next time, I bid you all Shalom Aleichem, Assalamu Alaikum, Irini Mazisu, Pax Vobiscum, peace be unto you, and Maranatha.